Hello, beautiful friends. I am at the epic planetarium with joy behind me. So much beauty. It's dusk in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I'm just going for a walk at night. I just came back from this beautiful kirtan at the beach. It was so lovely. And just wanted to share a little bit about what's happening in the world, what we're up to, how we're doing. Hope everyone's doing really well. So we're working on this technology platform that's really exciting for me. The premise is that people would come on and they would put in their information of where they're at in their life, and I see it being almost like a voice app. If anyone has seen the movie Her, where it talks to you and it's connecting and it's almost like a friend or a person. And so the app would say things like, where are you at in your relationships? 1 out of 10. Are you looking for a partner? Are you wanting to find more friends? Are you wanting more time to yourself, etc., etc.? And it would get a bead on your relationships, and then it would talk to you during your day, and you could check in with it and be like, oh, this happened and this is going well. I want to work on this. And then same thing with your health. Are you looking to lose weight? Are you looking to gain muscle? Do you want to eat healthier? Blah, 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 blah. All the details of kind of your health. And then same thing with your finances. Do you love your job? Are you looking for work? Are you building a company? Do you need investors, etc.? And then are you happy? Are you connecting to spirit, source, whatever? All those kind of things, and just really get a bead on where you're at in your life, and maybe even kind of score it and then track that, and sort of like an online vision board where it would just keep track of who you are and where you're at and what's exciting for you and what you most want to create. And then on the other end, products, services, events, different things that support well-being, that support alignment, that support happiness would be featured on the app, and basically would tag, what does this product, service, event support? Does it help people to feel more relaxed? Does it help with low back pain if it's a massage? Does it help with blah, 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 blah? And so there's one end, there's people putting in what's their best life ever and where are they at in their life and what could they use support with. On the other end, there's what do people have to offer to the world. And then the app and the platform would intelligently connect people based on location, price, match in terms of what they're needing right now, all that stuff. And so it would sort of act as like a personal assistant / connector friend. And that's what I do for a lot of people. They sort of ask me, hey Shine, what's the best this, what's the best that, what events are happening? And I'm sort of a community connector. And so this is taking that idea and putting it into a digital form. And it's also taking the idea of intuition. So if we think of today, I just walked into this beautiful chanting circle and I didn't even know it was happening, but I just sort of fell into it. And then, but maybe some people, they're still figuring out that whole intuition thing and going with the flow. And so this can sort of help to remind them and be like, oh, there's a drum circle happening nearby, you should go to it. Or, oh, you're walking by this store, there's actually something in there that could support you, or there's someone in there that has this specific thing, and it would ping both of you. So just like a really fun, intelligent connection tool. So anyways, this is the project that we are working on. It's been a really beautiful couple of years running events and starting to get into this business world. I was definitely not a business person coming into this. I wouldn't call myself a business person. I used to say that I was a professional hippie. I just kind of traveled, wrote songs, lived in community, but really what I was doing with most of my time was learning about alignment, learning about how to be in that state of flow, in that state of intuition, in that state of trust, and what that looked like, what that felt like, what was the best way to get there, what was the most efficient sort of tool, and all that stuff, how to actually be in the flow. What are the because people, there's a lot of like platitudes like, oh, just be happy, oh, follow your bliss. But it's like, okay, what does that actually mean? How do I start now? What does that look like? And so I found this really interesting process where I basically will just stop trying to do one thing or another. Sometimes meditation can feel like a chore in that you're trying to stop the mind, you're trying to do something. And what I'm finding is that if I stop the trying, if I just open and I widen my field of vision and I just stop trying to either slow or speed up, and I just am where I am, and then from there I'll usually either have one of two things happen. If I'm in a primarily negative vibration and I'm feeling slow, like not even negative is a bad thing, but just a slower vibration where I'm just feeling more relaxed or tired, or I just got up, then I may need some kind of I may need some time to just build myself up. And it's not the time to take action and to really like move into this place of fierce action and like moving forward. It's more the time to just open and sort of build that energy slowly and sort of marinate in it. It's like if you were thinking about sex, especially for ladies who are a bit more, who love that foreplay. It's like the foreplay. It's like getting into that, building the energy in that sort of like tantric lovemaking where you would, you don't just like jump right in. You sort of want to stir the pot a little and caress and touch and build the energy. And then almost like waiting until it's like, I have to do this. I have to, it's like you build the energy to such a point that it just needs to be expressed. It needs to be made physical rather than, and I think that when we take action, not from that place, for me, it feels like it's almost like I'm trying to control. I'm trying to make it happen because I think it's the right timing and I want it to happen now, versus saying, okay, universe, I trust you to guide me on the most appropriate path for the best for all involved. And I'm going to surrender. I'm going to stop trying to do anything, and I'm going to allow you to move through me. And I think I'm not a Christian, I'm not religious, but I've heard this saying from Jesus of, I don't speak unless he speaks through me. And I've always resonated with that idea of not doing things from a place of I guess maybe some people would call it ego, but from that self place of, I want to make this happen, but maybe there's a underlying belief there that says, I really need to make money right now and I don't have enough, and so in order for me to have enough money, I need to do this thing. And there's that kind of like, almost like it's like a smudge on the filter, on the lens, or it's just a little bit of a misalignment. It's like one of the guitar strings is slightly out of tune. And so finding that beautiful place of alignment where all the strings are tuned and the instruments are singing in harmony. And once one person can do that consistently and get into that state and stay in that state and sort of master that state and be there at will, then multiple people can come together in that state with those abilities. I think that's where the real magic is going to happen, and where we're going to be able to really blast off into this next level of co-creation, where we're not so hindered by our traumas and our past hurts and things, and we sort of get into these intimate relationships and these community connections, and we trigger each other's wounds, and then we sort of can project that, oh, that's a bad person, that's a bad project, this is a bad thing, versus using everything as just this beautiful mirror of, oh, okay, well, if I am attracting this into my reality, it must be me. It must be something that I'm vibrating, something that I am creating into being. And that's a really beautiful, I guess, way of looking at things, is that everything is me, everything is my creation. And whether it's good or bad, this is me looking back at me. And if everything is a mirror, you don't change the face in the mirror by changing the mirror, because it's just a reflection. It can't actually change. The only way to change what's in the mirror is to change the person looking into the mirror, to change the observer. And so that's how I see it, is that we're walking through the world, and everything that happens is a direct reflection of whatever we're feeling and thinking and focused on. And Bashar has a really great way of explaining this, where he says that we're living in multiple parallel realities, and we're jumping from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second. And that the idea of law of attraction is that we are literally shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second. That's what actually gives the illusion of time, in that it's all sort of like a still frame, these still frame moments, but we're moving so quickly that we can't tell the difference, and it feels like there's linear movement in time, and that we're just we're connecting into a reality that matches exactly where we're at. And so that's why visualization and meditation and alignment and emotional work becomes so important, because it's almost like the leverage. Abraham Hicks is another great teacher who talks about this, that the leverage that happens when we really tune in to the universe, the leverage of having the universe on our side. It's almost, someone said it today, it's like the universe is our personal assistant. And Abraham talks about having sort of pre-paving the way, where all these things are sort of lined up. And it can be the difference between having an idea and lining up with. I love the story of Justin Bieber, the young version. I don't know him now. I don't really know where he's going. But the young version, if you've seen that movie, the first Justin Bieber movie, it was really magical to watch, because he was this young kid and he just loved to play guitar. At least this is how it was portrayed. He loved to sing and play guitar, and he was really good at it. And so he would just sing and play guitar and have fun and do his thing. And then he would record it and share it with his family, in different parts of the world. And then they would share it with people, and his YouTube channel started to grow, and people would say, oh, I love this video, and share it. And it was kind of at the beginning of that whole social media thing. And then this guy saw him, and he was a music manager and producer, and basically that whole thing happened really quickly, where he just sort of seemed to, he wasn't trying to make a living at it. He wasn't trying to be Justin Bieber. He was just playing music. He was just having fun. And then it's almost like in the videos, you can just see he has so little resistance and so little expectation and so little kind of trying to do anything other than just perform and play. And he just was so excited about just being on stage, and he just loved that part of it, and it just was so natural. And I just love that. It's like that can be so easy, that can be so simple. And imagine having that type of experience where you have an idea, and it's just, you just get to literally do the thing you love all day long, every day. And then all the pieces that need to happen to sort of bring that into what would be called a career, or into fruition or financial reciprocation, all those pieces sort of form around you, versus having to think that we need to be the ones to do all the work. That if I can't possibly be an artist. There's not enough money in art. There's not enough money in just doing yoga or just meditating or just whatevering. And with the internet now, Gary Vaynerchuk is another great teacher I love. There's so many resources of how to create abundance through this flow, but I really feel like it comes down to, if we can just stay in our our flow. And that's why I love this practice of just surrendering, because it's not about trying to make things happen. It's not about trying to activate or action our way through life. It's more about just stopping and opening and saying, what's here? What wants to move through me? And what wants to happen next? And what's most exciting? And then letting that happen. And then asking again, what's here? Is there an emotion here that wants to be felt and moved through? Is there a thought that wants to be thought and pondered upon and built and expanded? Is there an action that wants to be taken? Should I get up and go here? Should I eat this thing? And just sort of following that beautiful flow of life. And what I've found is that process really, for me, I've always thought that there had to be a really simple, sort of like one step, one stop, easy way to do life. That it wasn't complicated, that there wasn't this like 10-step thing you had to do and you had to, know all these things. And it just didn't seem like it made any sense, because there's no instruction manual when we get here. And I noticed that kids really do this naturally, where they sort of intuitively move to the thing that's most interesting. If we just let them be, they will follow their flow. They'll just find the thing that's most exciting and do it until it's not exciting anymore. Then they'll find the next thing, and then someone will hurt their feelings and they'll cry and they'll get over it, and then they'll play. And it's just this cycle of just flow. And if we don't get in the way of it, it can be really beautiful to watch. And I think that we sort of are trained out of that by our teachers and by teachers, parents, school, work, blah, blah, blah. And so it's time to kind of bring that back where there's nothing to do. It takes all the pressure off too. It's like, it's not my job to do anything. It's my job just to open. And if my natural state is to flow in a direction that creates an app, or that creates events, or that creates a project, or that I become a media personality, or that whatever things that you might want to do, a musician, an artist, a coach, a teacher, a entrepreneur, whatever, real estate investor, Bitcoin billionaire, if that is truly your highest calling, then it will happen organically, naturally, by just surrendering and stopping trying to think our way to make something happen. Because a lot of times the thoughts can actually be based in false beliefs, based in fearful ideas, based in like, I heard you're supposed to do this, you have to make a living, you have to do all these things, versus just like being in that place of trust. And I've had a really interesting life where I've literally traveled the world with no money. And one time I had very little money, and I was trying to eat a very strict diet of like vegan, blah, blah, blah. And it was so funny because I would like get to a place and meet random people and synchronistically connect, or however it worked. And then I would get there, and not only would there be all the things that I wanted, but they would have prepared a meal that like matched my diet. And it was just all this magic. And it got to a point where I got so comfortable and so trusting with this flow that I just stopped. I just had to accept that the universe had my back and that it was working. And then I had to work through all of my sort of inner stuff. But a lot of it was, where I got stuck was I was trying to figure out what to do big picture while not doing the next most exciting thing. Or I was trying to clear all the energy all at once, but not following my natural flow and letting that energy clear on its own. And so what I've learned is like, it's so okay to just stop and not work so hard and just open and just say, what's next? And that there never has to be any effort from out of alignmentness. There never has to be any work that feels hard or arduous. We can still have fun. We can still work a lot if we want. We can still be very focused and activated, but it never has to feel like hard work. It never has to feel bad. And same thing with relationships. Like, it doesn't have to be so hard. Crystal and I have this beautiful kind of pact that we do our best to keep, which is if one of us is not in the vortex, we just stop. Because we know when the other one is out. We can tell. It's super easy to know the difference because we're both pretty joyful beings. We've sort of practiced that state. We know what that feels like to be joyful and in alignment. So when one of us is out, usually the other person sometimes has to remind the other one and say, hey, I think you're pretty out right now. You should probably just stop. And sometimes we need to just walk away. But we sort of have this agreement that we just don't move forward when one person is out. And we trust that the other person knows how to get back in their vortex. We leave them alone. They go do it. They come back and they say, oh, sorry, we're so, love you, blah, 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 and it's fine. And that's it. And same thing with work, just having this sort of rule that if someone is out of alignment, we just don't continue on that specific topic until they figure it out, until they feel better about it, and you switch topics or take a break. So much fun. I'm excited to sort of share this with the world more. I'm excited to build a company, a community around this ethos, around this idea of how to really live from alignment, and how we can do that, not only in our personal lives, but how we can bring that into a group setting and to show through example, through financial example, how much more profitable a business can be when it's running that way. And to just have that data and work with people who are skilled at gathering and sharing data so that it can be even more obvious to everyone else that this is really a good idea, and that it doesn't have to be hard, and that it can be easy and it can be fun. And not only is, as many companies are figuring out right now, not only is it more fun when employees and everyone is happy at a company, it's also much more productive macro. Maybe not like micro, maybe not today. It might get less work done than if everyone just put their head down and just did all the work that had to be done and kind of hammered through it. But you can't sustain that. There's no leverage in that. And it doesn't allow for the synchronicities and the magic to come through. So that was fun. Thanks for the chance to rant and love everyone up. Hope you're doing well. I'll see you soon. Talk soon.